Just like you shouldn't assume what someone's name is, right? Like if I went up to you and I was like, hey, George, and you're like, no, my name's Kyle. And I said, no, it's George. And you were like, no, it's Kyle. And then I responded by saying, no, I can tell by the way that you look that you're a George.
Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the best of the worst virtue signaling, but it's going to be pretty cringy as well, so prepare yourselves. Remember, if you like this sort of content and want to stick around for some more, make sure to like and subscribe down below. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. So, first up on our list of clips, we have someone who thinks getting your size clothes easily is privileged.
Edinburgh, let's go. If an airline has never charged you extra to fly, and you can find your clothing size locally, you have thin privilege. Emotional eating is a totally valid coping mechanism. People who say correlation does not imply causation in comment sections usually don't know what the they're talking about. High BMI is not a risk factor for hospitalization, mechanical ventilation, or mortality in patients with COVID-19. The same diets we prescribe patients in larger bodies would be considered an eating disorder in thin.
The next video you're about to see is literally the worst virtue signaling I think I've ever seen.
Z, zem, zer. Z, zem, zer.
This woman really is making people look at the bigger picture.
This mentality is so frustrating because men of color perfectly understand what institutional oppression is because y'all understand racism, but you refuse to extend that level of understanding to sexism because it doesn't affect you, right? You can wrap your heads around white supremacy, but refuse to acknowledge the patriarchy. You can make the argument for why Black Lives Matter is called Black Lives Matter and not All Lives Matter, yet you question why feminism is called feminism and not humanism.
Here we have an example of what it looks like when SJWs push their beliefs onto their kids.
Hold on, you love it, and you want it, and you picked it out, but you don't want it for school. Can you tell me why?
Because last time I wore a dress to school, everybody called me a girl.
Oh. Well, what did we learn from My Shadow is Pink?
Even when you wear a dress, you're not a girl.
What makes a shirt for a boy or a girl?
Nothing.
So do you want this? You picked it out.
And here we have another feminist.
Adolescent girls are shamed for aging when their maturity threatens male dominance and coerced into aging when it absolves boys of developing emotional maturity. I think this simultaneous coerced maturation and societal infantilization of teenage girls grooms them to be women who play an indispensable role under patriarchy, which is women who mother men and are also controlled and sexually desired by.
This next woman got on the wrong side of the TikTok community.
Okay, so I'm literally going to log off and like turn off my phone directly after I make this video, but I just want to say something. If you can't handle having someone, a woman of color at that, me, critique someone who's a white woman who you have a parasocial relationship with because you don't know them, they don't know you, they're not your friends. If you can't handle a woman of color critiquing someone and having literally hundreds of women of color also agreeing with that person, I'm genuinely afraid for the women of color in your life. I am genuinely afraid for the women of color in your life because I'm just some random woman on the internet, okay? And some of you have gotten so defensive and downright dirty in the comments section of that other video, being vicious. And how are you gonna call yourself an ally if you can't?
This next video is virtue signaling at its finest.
Tell people I'm pansexual, they'll be like, oh, what, so you have sex with pans? And I'm like, no, that's actually really ignorant. The truth is I have sex with most kitchenware. Like don't leave me alone in the room with your slow cooker, okay? Because she won't be able to resist this.
So, according to this woman, these art architectures are disguised as anti-homelessness.
Genre of music sucks. Swag rock.
What do you guys think of this next clip?
Please don't do this. That is not a compliment.
The sentiment about East Asian women specifically
is the basis of Asian hate. Having a thing for Asian women gets us killed.
The idea that we are objects to be desired erases our humanity and compels people to either desire us or resent us.
Oh my god, this next video is pretty cringe, just take a look.
The best Chicago-style pizza.
Where's the cheese?
It's under the sauce.
There's no cheese on it.
It's under the sauce.
Like, I'm Italian and this is hurting me.
It's from Chicago.
But it's just sauce.
The cheese is on it.
This guy put "women talk more than men" to an end of one simple TikTok.
Men speak 7,000 words a day and women speak 20,000. I've heard 3 people say this in the last few weeks, and they all say it so offhandedly, as if it's a universally known fact. So I'm gonna say this again. It's bullshit. Made up to make women be quiet when their husbands get home from work. The earliest known instance of this fact is from a 1993 book by James Dobson, a conservative evangelical psychologist. And like I said last time I talked about this, you've probably gone years without hearing that name. I'm sorry for breaking the streak. Dobson was like, women speak 50,000 words a day and men speak 25,000, and then everyone just ran with it. There are 3 simple ways to tell that this is entirely fictitious. 1. Actual studies. Every time this has been tracked, the results are unsurprising. Men and women speak, on average, the same amount.
This woman seems to misunderstand what this guy is saying. How is it fair that men have to deal with getting told, quote unquote, they're too short?
Wait, you're a piece of shit. A girl can't date a guy that's under 6 foot, not 5 foot.
Hi friends, this is an example of a man blaming women for a problem caused by the patriarchy. Now I want us to use our critical thinking skills, okay? What could possibly have caused women to want to date taller men? Could it be that many men are threatened by women who are bigger than they are? That one of society's main goals seems to be telling women to take up less space?
This guy is talking like he's being paid to say this. It's kind of putting me off.
Hi, Benji here, and this is why gender equality doesn't have to affect you to matter. You don't have to have a wife, girlfriend, mum, daughter, or sister. You don't have to know that deconstructing gender stereotypes also deconstructs toxic masculinity, allowing men the freedom to be themselves. Well, that's removing gender divisions makes society more inclusive for all gender identities and gender expression. Well, that's women have always played integral roles in all social movements, meaning we all benefit from affirming and uplifting their voices. Because gender equality is a human right, and it should be enough to just believe that gender shouldn't be a barrier to opportunity, success, safety, or happiness, and that we all have.
Okay, but names are not a gender. What is going on in this clip?
That you should be talking to your students about pronouns. Everyone has a pronoun, and you shouldn't be assuming what they are. Just like you shouldn't assume what someone's name is, right? Like if I went up to you and I was like, hey, George, and you're like, no, my name's Kyle. And I said, no, it's George. And you were like, no, it's Kyle. And then I responded by saying, no, I can tell by the way that you look that you're a George.
This woman seems to think that the work of a CEO is the same as a Bangladeshi garment worker, which I don't think I have to tell you isn't true.
It takes 4 days for a CEO from one of the top 5 fashion brands to earn the same amount that a Bangladeshi garment worker will earn in her entire life. Just let that sink in.
And with that, everyone, we are at the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button for more, and we'll see you next time on Pol Chat.